What is the difference between a pastor and a preacher? You'll find out coming up here on the Better Sundays podcast at reachkeep.com. Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast. Focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community. Well, howdy. Mike Holmes here on the road again, and I am spending some time with you while I am on my vacation, but I didn't want to leave you in the dark. So it is good to be here. I am somewhere in southern Colorado, and it's about 0 degrees out, sitting in a hotel room, heading down to the Navajo Reservation here in just a little bit to scope out a few things for a missions trip. And then from there, I'm going down, and that's where the vacation really starts. Going to go down and see my mom and dad that live down in Tucson area. So anyway, good to have you here. Thanks for taking time to be with us. I want to talk specifically about the difference between a pastor and a preacher. Now, a pastor and a preacher really, sometimes we use those terms synonymously, and hey pastor, hey preacher, how you doing? That type of thing. But there's definitely some leanings one towards the other, and I want to share some of that with you. And all of this is kind of moving towards the direction that we have been going as we're teaching some things here now on the pastor, the preacher, and the pulpit, and how pastors can be better preachers, and really how preachers can be better pastors. So our goal here at ReachKeep is to create flourishing churches. We believe in the local church. So we lean very heavy towards the idea that a pastor really needs to be the key to that, making that happen, and be the leadership guy that makes all those things happen. And if you've watched our podcasts over the years, you know that there's all sorts of different things that we have done, talk about how pastors can lead their flock and have better vision and have better nurseries and better Sunday schools and all sorts of things that are done specifically to help pastors be the very best that they can be. But one of the things that they do that really they are known for in so many ways is the preaching. A pastor has to preach on a regular basis, and pastors really need to be very good at preaching. I mean, that is something that they need to do. So we're going to be talking a little bit over this course, and how the way this works is there are what we call the 9 fundamentals to good pastoral preaching. In other words, there's 9 different things that you really need to grab hold of. They're very fundamental. They're building blocks that create a pastor able to be a very good public speaker, preacher, and be effective at that. They're also the same 9 fundamentals help preachers, someone who is a little bit better at the pulpity kind of stuff and can stand up there and really can do the wordsmithing and craft the words. It really helps them to be a better pastor. It's really kind of a broad-based training that we have here, and these 9 fundamentals are something that we have used in our ministry and I've been teaching for years. We finally put them down into one concise thing, and we're putting them into a specific, like a webinar we're going to be teaching for you, and then from there, if you want some more one-on-one, some actual online training and some coaching that we'll give you. But the idea of a pastor being a better preacher is there's so many different things. I mean, pastors need to be really good at their illustrations. They need to be really good at their application. They need to really, kind of take a sermon and kind of hone it down and bring it down to a single point. Okay, that needs to be something that is done. It is not just giving out information. And of course, preachers who are very good at, crafting the word and turning the phrase and all that, they need to work on making the sermon applicable to the people. And remember that at the end of the sermon, the end of the sermon is not a song or a invitation or whatever. The end of the sermon is people. Okay, in other words, putting the people into action. And I want to share some of that with you over the next couple of weeks. Some of this, like I say, I'm just on vacation. I just wanted to kind of take a few moments and kind of break in and let you know kind of where we're going with some of this. If you did not get to our last couple podcasts that had to do with the planning, the annual calendar planning, go back and find those. And this is some very important things of part 1 and part 2 on how to create this like a calendar, how you can really know where you're going. Because I can tell you something, a prepared preacher, does better than an unprepared preacher. And I'm not just talking about in the moment, like the prepared, like, oh, in the next 20 seconds what I have to say, or the next 20 minutes what I have to say, but I'm talking about the next 20 days or 20 weeks. If you know where you're going, 10, 15 days ahead, 10, 15 weeks ahead, and I'm not saying that the Holy Spirit can't change and you don't guide and, some of that, but when you are well prepared, it allows so many more things to happen with your message and so much more application and engagement, things that don't happen when you're just wrapping things up on Saturday night. Now, all pastors, I believe, and preachers would wrap things up on Saturday night as far as reviewing their message and going through things, but every message really needs to have some feet to it, some hands to it at the end. And when it's over, there needs to be something that engages the people, and some of those engagement things are more than just come forward and pray and make this particular decision. Some of those are sign up for this, or go here, or do this, or on Tuesday we're doing that, or on Wednesday we're doing that. And all of those things work better if you are a prepared preacher. So go back and watch those last couple podcasts if you can. They're on YouTube, as well as the Better Sundays podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Google and all the particular places. And then in the next few weeks, what we're going to do is start to work into a couple of the practical elements of preaching and some of the things that will really help you, the nuts and bolts. We have many people ask about how to do fill in the blank notes. And if you've ever been to a church where there's fill in the blank notes, you've seen some that are really well done, some that are very poorly done, and some that are just not done at all. But a good, a sharp pencil is better than a good memory. Having people engaged and doing notes, we're going to show you exactly how we do that as Sinclair Baptist, and some of the details that help you just really keep your people connected with you so that your sermon lives longer. You don't want to have a sermon that just lasts 35, 40 minutes. You want a sermon that goes throughout the week, that fills in all the gaps of the people, and that they remember and they interact with it, and they have questions, and there's study questions and things that they can dive into. And so we're going to teach you how to do specifically that. We're going to talk a little bit more about sermon series. This is the idea of all the things that help a sermon series come together. Okay, everything, and not necessarily, and again, this is planning, but this is for just one little chunk of planning. And again, this does not matter if you are preaching verse by verse, or if you're preaching verse with verse, kind of going through the scriptures. There are many things that you can do to expand that and help that integrate into the lives of your people, all the way clear down into Sunday school, the whole works. So we're going to deal with some of that. And then we're going to jump into the 9 fundamentals here in a few weeks, and we're going to spend time on each one of those, and we're going to kind of have a concise webinar where everything will be delivered all in one shot. So, and then again, if you want some further coaching, I do a lot of online coaching with pastors around the country. Every week I'm on the phone with them. We sit down, we go through, we talk, we have questions, I give them assignments. We really kind of spend a lot of really good time. And if you are in a position where you need something like that, or you feel that that would be helpful for you, we're going to make that available for you here coming up in a few weeks. So anyway, I am on vacation, like I say, just sitting in a hotel room, had just a couple spare minutes. I'll next week probably be in another hotel room on my way back. I am leaving cold and chilly Wyoming behind with all the snow, and I'm headed down to where it's going to be a little bit warmer for a few days and spend some time with my mom and dad. So appreciate all of you. Oh, I did mention the missions trip on the way, and maybe you'd be interested in this. We are going down onto the Navajo reservation this summer and helping a church put in indoor plumbing for the very first time. They're going to have flush toilets inside their church building and not out like down the path, and very excited about helping a church do that. Really good ministry down there. We are looking for someone that knows how to lay cinder block and do block wall, and if you know how to do that, or some plumbing stuff, and you're interested in a missions trip, we do those kind of things. It's going to be really kind of spread across the end of April, May, and June. We have several spots where people could work in, and if you're interested in something like that, we would love to get you involved. Just shoot me a text or contact me at info@reachkeep.com. That's my address there, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the Life on the Res and helping out some of these guys down there that are ministering in just what is really third world kind of stuff. And we love them and want to help them. So, hey, if this is helpful for you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Be a subscriber on YouTube. That makes me happy. Okay, it helps us kind of get more oomph throughout the internet world and reaching out to other people. And of course, you can always share this stuff with other people and go to our website at reachkeep.com to find out more things about our coaching and the training that we do. So we're here for the local church. We're here to create flourishing churches, and we are here for you. So thanks for being with me today, and I will see you here next week. Spend a little bit more time talking about the pastor preaching pulpit kind of concept. Looking forward to it. So we'll catch you later. Take care.